Welcome to another episode by Anziano, and today we have part of the Anziano back office team. My name is CP Samuel. I'm the lead consultant and the director of Anziano. Anziano is a big family, so part of the family, we have our back office team who are here, others are behind the screens, the cameras. So we have Gloria, who is our admin, and we are joined by Ian, who services our clients for general insurance, Damaris, medical, life, and motor insurance, and part of the other team is out there working for our clients for our outsourcing services. Basically, this is part of the team that you will interact with one-on-one, maybe on calls whenever you call Anziano. So Anziano is a big family. I mentioned we have Anziano Consultants, we have Anziano Insurance Agency, Anziano Foundation, Gadhia Monge and Associates as the audit firm. So basically that is part of Anziano. So at time you'll call and Ian, Damaris, Gloria may pick and you are looking for consultancy services or you are looking for insurance services. All in all, our services are nexus or auxiliary services to finance. Accounting, finance, consulting, name it. I've introduced.
Thank you, Samuel, for the introduction. We just dive into today's topic. So we are going to look at the emerging issues in terms of VAT filing, and one of them is Etims. Yes. So Etims has become a discussion. Recently, KRA recently said that any expenses that are not supported by Etims, then they will not be considered.
Yes.
Filing for income tax returns.
So Etims means Electronic Tax Invoicing Management System. It's a system by KRA that businesses are using to raise invoices. Even part of us here, for us to be paid commissions for the insurance, we have to raise Etims invoices. So this is like a point of sale system that KRA has given out that businesses, taxpayers have to sign up for and then use that system to raise fiscal invoices. So fiscal invoices is an invoice that will be used for tax purposes. So when you raise the invoice, KRA knows today Anziano Insurance Agency, you have income. Gadhia Monge and Associates audit firm has income. Anziano Consultants has income, because once you raise that invoice, the transmitter is made to KRA. So this is actually coming from KRA servers. And this is a way of KRA in expanding the tax net so that it brings more people into the tax bracket, and also enabling taxpayers to be able to support expenses. So if you have an expense you incurred, we bought the filming equipment and we have the receipt that actually KRA can see. So it's also enhancing visibility. KRA is able to see business transactions so that they're able to correct more revenue and to bring those people who are not within the tax net within the tax net. So that is basically Etims in brief.
So Etims, I believe it was an upgrade of the previous system.
Yes. Technology has evolved. You can see we are now digital. So initially, people used to file manually. People would queue at Times Tower taking those returns forms. And part of the strategies KRA on their digitization journey have had a number of systems. We had Etims, Tax Invoicing Management Systems. We had ETR, Electronic Tax Registers, that if you would go to the hardware, to the petrol station, there's like a gadget that they would give you an ETR receipt. But that gadget was only programmed in a way you could not distort, but KRA did not have visibility of it. I think with crowd computing, crowd storage and the likes, KRA has introduced that electronic Etims, whereby there is the invoice, KRA can see. And then it's an upgrade on Teams. Teams was not free. Etims is free. So as a taxpayer, they're able to sign up on etims.kra.go.ke. You can even find Etims within your eCitizen account. If you log into your eCitizen, I presume every person has an eCitizen account, because for you to access government services, all government services are actually being centralized within eCitizen. You can actually get Etims on eCitizen. So that has been the journey.
Okay. For Etims, who are supposed to register for Etims? Because there are most of some people, they will say the only people who are supposed to, they won't register for Etims because they don't have a business, or the only people who are supposed to register are VAT. People registered for VAT obligation.
Actually, the biggest misconception has been only people who are registered for VAT are supposed to be on Etims. But apparently, every business person is supposed to register for Etims. But there are just slight exemptions. Because we've mentioned that for you to claim an expense, you bought something and you need to prove as you do your return to net your expense. It has to be supported by an Etims receipt. So that means you as a small business, you need to give me an Etims. For them to give me an Etims, it means they are already registered on the system. So everyone is supposed to be registered for Etims. If you are avoiding it, you can avoid, but you will not. You can earn but not hide. So when you'll get a chance to be paid, you have supplied something or a service, they ask you, please give us an Etims invoice for us to pay you. At that point, you can earn but not hide. You have to register for Etims. So there are just a few transactions that are exempted, like interest from banks. Banks will not ask you to give them Etims invoice for them to credit you with interest from if you're having a fixed deposit account. Salaries and emoluments are not also subject to Etims. So employer will not ask you, give me an Etims for me to pay, because they are paying pay as you earn. Ticketing services, those services are exempted from Etims. So those are just a few of the transactions that are actually exempted from Etims, not Etims registration. So expenses that you incur, for instance, mention about salaries, they are not subject to Etims for them to be deductible.
Okay. For business, there are different types of Etims solutions depending on the kind of business that you are doing. So some of them are.
Let me start with the basic. People are asking, how do we now, technology and digital? I'm using a Kabambe. I don't know how to raise an invoice. So the basic, you can register for Etims on USSD. So on your Kabambe, Murikamwizi, just dial *222# and then you'll get a number of services. You pick KRA services. When you pick KRA services, go to Etims and then activate register. So it will ask you ID number, it will validate, and then you'll be actually activated on Etims. And from there, you can actually raise an invoice. You just need to dial *222# and raise an invoice. So that is solution number one. We also have Etims Online. You can access it on any browser, etims.kra.go.ke. And then we have Etims as an application that you can actually download. If you are using a computer, especially these are people who are dealing with goods, this is the most preferred solution. Even KRA will recommend you do that. So you can install a free software on your computer Windows application, or you can actually have, there's even an Android application that you now install in an Android gadget. You have seen those gadgets that look like a phone but has a thermal printer.
Yes.
So it is not free. That one you have to purchase from a vendor, but the solution is actually free. So that is the other solution that one would take for Etims. And then for those organizations that are running multiple branches, example I would give is the supermarkets. If you go to the counter, they are not asking you, please wait for us to do the Etims. You've seen at petrol station, you need an Etims. They only have one gadget. So you're just waiting. Amalize kupiga Etims ya huyo. So for supermarket, they have a centralized system, a control unit device that now all sales have to go through that. That's why your receipt unapata supermarket, you'll see it has a QR code. That's one of the features of the Etims. And then there is Etims system to system integration. If you are a developer and you want to develop an accounting system or a system that actually gives a fiscal receipt, if you go to restaurants, si unaonanga the way they first bring you sahani na tuvijiko, you see, and then they'll give you that bill. So that bill that they give you is actually not even a receipt. It's actually a bill. So when they bill, they're supposed to give you a receipt after you've paid. So the receipts that they give, most of them are actually not fiscal receipts. So system to system integration, a developer can now build onto that system for it to issue Etims receipt. So if you go to the restaurant, you paid some bills of, you've gone to take a client to give them a treat and you need your company to refund you that, they will ask you to give you an Etims receipt. Be on the lookout because there are some systems that actually have that QR code. I've seen that in some restaurants, or even for those who take one for the road, most of those clubs, you'll find they will give you a receipt on a QR code, but actually it's not an Etims receipt. So that is the other solution that we have. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Another question that probably some people who have interacted with the Etims might ask, what happens, for example, you have issued an invoice which is wrong. Can you correct it?
Yes, there's a provision of amendment. I think we're not really trying to emphasize human is to error, so it's the systems. At times you'll do an Etims receipt, and then you realize you've made a mistake. And a good example, if you look at errors of omission, errors of commission, you had to raise an Etims of 170,000. You have raised 1.7 million. So there's provision you can actually raise a credit note to reverse that transaction, and then you're able to raise a proper invoice for the right amount. It could be even quantities. So there's that provision within the solutions that I've mentioned. Yeah.
There are some non-compliance issues when it comes to VAT, and one of them is special table. What is a special table?
So to build up on that, clients who are actually registered for VAT and they have actually issues with how they do their tax. This is when you get that VAT obligation, you're an agent of KRA. You're an agent of the government to collect the money on their behalf. And if you're not doing it in the right way, for instance, you are raising invoices. You have a zero-rated, a generated item that you said is zero-rated. Or you're actually raising invoices and actually even not paying VAT. So there is a control mechanism that KRA introduced known as VAT Special Table. So this special table is like that black book we used to have in high school, whereby ukifanya makosa tunaandika, another makosa tunaandika, then it's more of like a warning. So when you put into special table, KRA has actually put you in that special table. You cannot even file. You can't file your returns. You can't You can raise Etims actually, but now those who purchase from you cannot claim that input. You know how VAT works? When you buy, you claim that as input. But if you bought from a client who is in special table, the Etim, the receipt will be actually an Etim receipt. But if you scan, it will actually show non-compliance. Or when you are filing, KRA system will say this invoice is not within our system. So it is not validating input from taxpayers in special table. That is actually some of the problems that, but is actually a control system that KRA has put in terms of VAT compliance.
But when you are put on special table, are you liable for any liabilities after the time that you are put on the special table?
Yes. If you are put on special table, you are in a hole that you have to remove yourself from, because you cannot file your returns. Your buyers cannot claim input out of your receipts. And even after being removed, you still be required to file those returns for that period you have been within special table. So if you are within special table, you need to get in touch with us to help you liaise with your tax station for you to be removed from that special table, because in the long run, you're actually accruing penalties and interest out of being within the VAT special table. That is it on VAT special table Etims. In terms of, you need to be registered on Etims to raise Etim receipt of VAT. Please be compliant. If you are non-compliant, you'll be put in special table. And if you're in special table, get in touch for us to assist you to be removed from special table.